Well, so we're in to look at what the stories are on the news papers, but this time it's just been summarized, and so we'll try. Maybe just try and start and let's see which of the stories we have on the
Daily
front
Graphic today has on its front page 250 megawatts power plant arrives. The Water River Authority at the weekend.
Which one is that?
That's what the paper is reporting. That the VRA received a 250 megawatt plant from Africa and Middle East Resource Investment based in Dubai to augment the country's power mix. That's what the paper is reporting.
Arrives, or it will arrive.
Yeah.
Receive.
Maybe when you read the details, it will tell you the impacts that is making.
We can receive the 250 plant from.
What's the impact of that? What's the impact of it?
Maybe that's why my area perhaps I haven't had power cuts for the last.
Because the VRA received the 250 megawatt plant. Yes, that's why now it's 24 hours of doom.
Right, we'll see how that goes. The next story we're looking at is 22 traders to be prosecuted for dealing in adulterated palm oil. And we know that following what the FDA says we should not do, buying palm oil, right? For those of you who like a lot of beans, Ghanaian beans, and who do a lot of wala to walas, and so you take it for the whole day.
Yes, so they were given some alternatives.
Okay. They were on the show.
You can change the red oil to
normal,
the cooking oil.
Okay.
If you wanted a bit red, you can add a bit of tin tomatoes to it. I don't know about it.
And the things in the tin tomatoes, are they also real? They're not cancer-causing agents in there? Yeah, sometimes you never know. The Drug Law Enforcement Unit of the Ghana Police Service will, in the ensuing days, put before court the 22 traders arrested in connection with large quantities of adulterated palm oil confiscated by the Food and Drugs Authority over the weekend. And we know that very decision is following that you don't indiscriminately just start buying palm oil wherever you see. But I know that we just don't buy palm oil like the way we buy things in traffic or let's say the mall.
No,
you usually go to the marketplace.
You go to the market, but that's where the danger is, surprisingly. And they say that it's only because the market women are forced to do what they do, add in that deadly dye that only textiles companies
because that's
use.
what we demand. We want it to see red.
Exactly. We want to see red because it's red oil, so we want to see red. When we see it yellowish, we don't like it. So they're only giving us what we like.
I think that we need to reverse. Respect decision of NEC, that's the National Executive Committee of the party, and that's coming from the flag bearer of the NPP, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. This has been discussed. I think from now we should stop discussing it.
We can't, because things keep coming out. For as long as Mr. Afoko wants to fight this in court, I'm sorry, Roland, it won't go away. We'll continue to discuss
he doesn't.
it.
He intends fighting it.
Yes, he wants to see. And there are two sides of this. Even within the NPP itself, there are persons who say that, listen,
who have divergent views on the action that was taken.
The man's style of leadership was probably not what you would have loved or expected, but the way you've taken him off is also not right.
Daily Guide. We have Mahama Boy sees Odike's car, and it says presidential candidate of the United Progressive Party, Kwesi Adai, also known to many of us as Odike. We've hosted him on the show a couple of times. Was on Monday subjected to public humiliation when his Toyota Hilux pickup vehicle was seized by known President John Mahama Boys in Kumasi. Oh, Daily Guide. I think you can do better than this. And we have MPP was in Afoko's pocket, C.K. Tedem, and we had that very interview. We'll play it during our main discussions on AM Talk as well. And find out how's the story. Vice presidential slot splits NDC. Well, support for a new running mate to partner President John Dramani Mahama for election 2016 is swelling in the National Democratic Congress, dividing the rank and file of the party. And Ghanaians plunge into further darkness
with the arrival of the 250.
Now,
I mean, they should have added that to the story.
Now I'm confused.
Yeah, because VRA, gets a boost apparently.
Yeah.
And then
220 or 250.
And then the situation has worsened.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I'm confused.
Amazing. This is Ghana. I tell you what, I'm not sure we know what we're doing.
I think we know what we're doing. We just don't have what it is to know what we're doing.
Really?
Yeah. I think we know what it is that we have to do. Look, money no day. That be the program. The program is a money no day. Akufo-Addo backs NEC on a focus suspension. This it pits the flag bearer on one side, and apparently gets to confirm all the speculation that was in before this very decision was taken.
But I don't know, because
apparently he was not, you know, coincidentally he was not in town at the time.
But you see, you know what is coincidence also? There were prominent persons who were absent in that NEC meeting, and you know, people within the party say that this is
unprecedented. There were prominent people who
were people who are usually in such meetings. I mean,
they were.
What is a NEC meeting without the leader of the party? You know, like the flag bearer, the vice presidential candidates, the minority in parliament, the leadership in parliament, really. I mean, so if you look at, you know, the big people who are usually in such NEC meetings were absent.
Because they didn't want to be soiled by whatever the outcome. And you can imagine we would have been mentioning their names by now.
Did they know what was going to happen?
Oh, I think so. They were guessing.
And then there's another school of thoughts. Maybe you can ask your guest later on Talk. Who asked the disciplinary committee to investigate the matters? Was it the NEC that they would report back to the NEC and make a recommendation to the NEC? Did NEC ask them to do something that they had to report back to them? You know, that's also another question that's also being asked out there.
Well, for that very argument, we're told that it was because there was a petition. And the petition necessarily was not coming from the NEC. It was coming from two other individuals. Well, one or two maybe members of the NEC. But of course, we know that the instruction was coming from. But at the end,
you see why I say MPP won't go away?
Yeah.
We have lots more questions.
Okay. Tor and Bost could merge. We've been hearing about this for some time. And bank services deteriorate. And banks have ignored the service quality and professionalism they give to customers and now pay more attention to business environment. A latest survey has found.
Yeah.
Okay, so where they are located,
this is not surprising.
How aesthetically they look, how they are well designed,
pay more attention to business environment. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We know that
I'm a very radical bank customer. If you treat me badly, I mean, I won't even giving you a second chance. I'll just move on.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You don't know anything.
I did it to two of the banks.
You don't know anything about customer loyalty. No, don't mention. You should be loyal to a bank.
You fear the cow.
You should be loyal.
One on the ring road. You should another one on the ring road too.
Shush. You should be loyal to a brand.
Really?
Yeah.
Me, I'm keeping my money in your bank. Charlie. I mean, you exist because of me. And you don't want to acknowledge that fact, I'll move on like that.
That's customer rights.
Yeah. But they should be careful, because these days, because of social media, because of Facebook, because of Twitter, when people experience bad customer service, and I've done it before, they'll just put it out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So they have to be careful.
Exactly.
And be a lot more empathetic to the needs of the customer.
But I think Ghanaians should also be able to move on. I mean, when a bank treats you badly, just move on like that. I mean, tell them, or don't keep quiet. Tell them.
Kakra Forsen, where are you?
Tell them.
I know my rights.
If it means creating a scene in the banking hall, do it and take all your money and go.
I know my rights. No wonder you have your hair, natural hair. Yeah, people like you are very difficult. Abladi Souza and the rest.
I'm just learning from Abla.
Budget must be employment center. We know the budget will be read probably next month. And
towards the end of the year.
Yeah, and the TUC is saying that the budget has to be employment centered, because next year government is not going to spend a lot more, even though there will be expenditure a lot more in the economy. But I'm sure that it's not going to come from the budget, mainstream budgets. Well, it's an election year, we shouldn't forget.
But don't forget also that a lot of people who are not employed currently, who are hoping that whatever it is will be lifted. So we'll see what happens. So that's it for what has been captured by myjoyonline.com, the front page headlines. I'll take you back to My Joy Online. This story that Roland started a bit earlier, MTN Nigeria fined a record 5 I think you even put it at 5 billion. It's more than that.
And apparently, do you know how much they make in a year? I think a little over $2 billion in Nigeria.
Okay. So this is about
MTN?
three
and they invested $1.8 billion.
Yeah. Let's go down, Fred, and read a bit of it
a lot of money.
of the story for you. It says that telecom giant MTN Nigeria has been fined a record of $5.2 billion by Nigeria's Communications Commission. MTN was fined for non-compliance with a deadline set by the NCC to disconnect all non-registered SIM cards. The move follows accusations by mobile phone users that the regulator had failed to bring operators to account for poor services to subscribers. Can our regulator in Ghana also be checking this and be finding people a lot more money? Yeah, maybe what we find is peanuts. We should go big like Nigeria. Let's check out this other story, because I said I was going to give a little update on elections. Ivory Coast presidential candidates recognize Ouattara victory. Amen. So this time we're not fighting. And this is picked from Reuters. Ivory Coast presidential candidate Bertin Konan Kouadio, one of 6 challengers in a weekend vote, conceded victory to incumbent President Alassane Ouattara on Monday, backing away from his earlier allegation that the process was marred by fraud. According to results in our possession, this is in court, it seems clear that Alassane Ouattara is winning the majority of votes necessary for his re-election. Okay, so we'll watch out for the big declaration, but this is good for Ivory Coast, and it's good for Africa as well. Yeah. Let me continue quickly with the BBC on another election-related matter, and this time is Tanzania. Is Tanzania, please? Okay. All right. It says Tanzania election, CCM faces strong challenge from Ukawa. If you're interested in the details, you can just read it by yourself. Turnout has been high in Tanzania's most competitive general elections, officials say, as a new opposition coalition tries to end the governing party's 54-year grip on power. 54. And
governing party.
That's a lot.
54 years.
Okay, so that's it for election-related issues. Let's take you back.
Is this South Africa?
No, we'll go to City FM. We'll check out this one from City FM. Over 400,000 Ghanaian children out of school. That's according to a report. And the story says that Ghana's education sector continues to dwindle because another report of the by the Ghana Education Service has revealed that over 400,000 children of school-going age are not in school. The report specified that about 20% of these children are between the ages of 6 and 11. The report further indicated that children between 8 to 17 years have lost interest in education due to several factors, including socioeconomic and cultural barriers. That's not good at all.
Not good at all.
Yeah. We're going to be expanding on this issue sometime here on the show for you. Okay, but before we run out, let's look at 2 more stories. One in South Africa being reported by the BBC. South African students, please go up. South African students are continuing university fee protests despite the president agreeing to freeze increases. So 3 universities remain closed, with students demanding free quality education for all. Okay, just before we wrap up, just the final one, still on the BBC, but it has to do with Nigeria, and the guy is fine. Yeah. Oni of Life, new Yoruba king
of Ife
in Nigeria.
Oni of Ife.
Okay, but look at him. He's 40 years and he's powerful. So the 40-year-old accountant, I mean, he looks rich, man, has been named the new Oni of Ife, a revered monarch in southwest Nigeria. We say congratulations. Fred, bring it down. Let's look at his face.
Fred, bring it down.
Let's look at him. Yeah, yeah, man. That's him.
Fred, look at the man.
Odeyeye Onitan Ogunwusi.
Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi.
He'll be one of the youngest traditional rulers in Nigeria.
He's rich.
Yeah, we'll say congratulations.
The most important thing is that he's rich.
Yeah, but he's fine. That's also what is important to me.
Yeah, that's for you. He's rich. Oni of Ife.
All right, so that's it.
That's where Francisca Abla de Souza comes from, partly.
Really?
Ancestors, yeah.
Okay,
Ife.
I'm not a part of this. I take myself out.
Ife.
If you're interested in any of the stories
you don't know the history
that we've brought to you,
Ife.
You can either go to the website or you can go to the newsstands and grab the paper so that you can read in detail. Our work here is done. Stay with us. We've got Sports. Mourinho is in the news. He's been fined again. I think he should be fired. That's what he's probably calling for. He should be fired.
We're praying that he's not fired, because on all our social network pages, on WhatsApp especially, we, the supporters of the Blues, that's the Chelsea Football Club that has a stadium based at Stamford Bridge, West London.
Really?
We're hoping that doesn't happen. And you know, very soon I'll be going to the UK.
Okay, wait.
I'll be going to Stamford
That's
Bridge.
it.
I'll be
Stay
giving
with
to you
us.
social
We've
media
got sports
pictures.
coming your way.
Okay.
Not your sports.
We have sports next.
Make sure you don't put a show.